Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day are Rosemary Gross, Samantha Joven, and Spencer Harville. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we really do appreciate it so much. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day like this lovely bunch, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so when we left off yesterday, Cliff is now aware, thanks to Nicole, that Jackson is planning on voting him out and taking Holly to the final three. So Cliff is pretty accepting of the situation. He's still holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, Jackson will change his mind with the right campaigning. So Cliff is planning on still trying to campaign to Jackson at some point. I don't think it's gonna work, but it's definitely worth a shot because it'd be really sucky to come all this way and then just be like, well, there's nothing I can do. So I'm glad he's gonna try something. So Nicole and Cliff were talking on the patio, and Nicole says, well, I imagine Holly is pretty much guaranteed to be in the final two. Yeah, I think that's fair to say, because if Jackson wins the final HOH, he's gonna take Holly over Nicole. If Nicole wins, she's gonna take Holly over Jackson. And obviously, if Holly wins, she's gonna take herself. Or maybe not. Maybe she'll give Jackson 2 spots. I don't know. But anyway, Nicole says, Cliff, if it's finale night and you see me walk out on stage as the final juror, that means one of the other two won HOH. However, if Jackson walks out, that means that I won the final HOH. So Cliff says, yeah, and you will have my vote no matter what if you make it to the final two. And he kind of backtracks because he doesn't want Nicole to think that he's just voting for her because they were working together. He says, you really deserve my vote and you've earned my vote, so you will get my vote. So then Nicole is saying, well, I hope we can still guilt Jackson into keeping you so that you can also be in the final three. And Cliff says, I don't think that's gonna work. He says the only thing that might convince Jackson is talking to him about the jury votes, the cold, hard facts. If he goes to the end with Holly, there might be some bitter jurors in there who don't give him the win, especially if Cliff is going to the jury house and saying, I had this freaking deal with Jackson, and he's always saying he's all about his word, he's all about his word, and he broke his word to me and voted me out. So he's definitely going to be trying to work that angle. I don't see it working, but you never know. So they're also annoyed that Jackson is going on and on about all of his reasons, excuses, and justifications for keeping Holly this week. They totally respect the move. They think that's fine. But they're saying they wish he would just say he's keeping Holly because it's better for his game. That's the only justification he really needs. All this stuff about, I am, you know, my agreements are void because you guys considered keeping Tommy last week, all that, blah, blah, blah. He's just putting on a show for America. And they see that, you know, they see that he's trying to come up with an excuse for why he's breaking his word. He was fine with the agreement until he won the power veto and it was up to him who was going to be in the final three. He would have been fine with all the new agreements if Cliff was the one that won the veto or Nicole won the veto and it was out of his hands, because then Cliff already promised that he would take Jackson to the end. So it wasn't until Jackson had power that he decided, nope, going against this deal. So Nicole says that Jackson is always claiming his character is all about his word, and if that's true, there shouldn't be any conditions there, because Jackson says, I am unwaveringly loyal to anyone until they prove that they're not loyal to me. So Nicole says, put your money where your mouth is, show that despite what people have done to you, you are still a man of your word. If there are conditions to that, that's not really your character. And she brings up her own character. You know, she's the empath. She's very empathetic with everybody. And if you look at what everybody did to her when they left her out of the HOH room, when everybody was talking about her and trashing her, you would think she would be a jerk to them after all that. But she wasn't. Bella found herself up on the block. Nicole was still really nice to her. She didn't have to do that, but that's her character, to have empathy for people. So Cliff agrees. He's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. So now the question is, what is Cliff going to pitch to Jackson. So again, Nicole wants Cliff to pull on Jackson's heartstrings. Good luck with that. I don't know about that. But she says, feel free to break out the tears. I don't think that's gonna work. So she says, I understand if you need to promise Jackson that you will take him to the final two. You know, you gotta do whatever you gotta do to stay this week. So Cliff is saying he wants to bring up how Jackson was always saying that he wants to go to the end with people who fought to be there and who scrapped to be there. That's always been BS though. That's not gonna bother him because he was lying the whole time about that. So Nicole says she's also willing to make promises to Jackson. What does she have to lose? What is he gonna do, vote her out? Big whoop. So she's saying, yeah, if you need me to promise to take him to the final two, sure, I'll do it. Not saying I would agree to it if it was really up to me, but I'll say it. And she wouldn't be upset if Cliff made that deal with Jackson and then actually followed through and took Jackson to the end if that was possible. She says, if I'm gonna get third place, I would rather be third to you and Jackson than Holly and Jackson. Ugh. So, yeah, Nicole implies that if she does make a final two deal with Jackson, she's probably not gonna stick to it. Why would she? So then Nicole and Cliff were spending a lot of time reminiscing, talking about the events of the season, reflecting. Meanwhile, Holly is constantly talking shit about Nicole to Jackson. Oh my god, it's so ridiculous. So Holly says the jury needs to know how Nicole has been playing lately since she got power. She says, I think it's important because as of right now, it just looks like the underdog story. Maybe it looks like that because it is. I don't know. But Holly says that's not what it is. She played the victim and then she got power for a millisecond and turned into a bully. A bully? Oh my god. So she says she played victim all summer and she's making me feel stupid for coming to her defense so many times all summer and being her #1 supporter. And being there for her when she was down on herself and she cried and I motivated her, and it makes me feel stupid when I gave so much of myself to build her up when she was just gonna tear me down the second she was built up. Are you living in an alternate universe? Is this the upside down? Like, what is going on here? You were not her #1 supporter. Never. Never. And it wasn't even close. And you're saying that Nicole's a bully. Why? Because she thought about voting you out last week for game reasons, and then she didn't even vote you out. She kept you anyway last week. That makes her a bully? So Holly says, I guess I can't exactly put that in a speech. Please do, because I would love to hear it, and I think everybody else would laugh their asses off too. So Holly says, I would hate for the jury to be like, wow, what an underdog story, because that's not the case. You are delusional. Oh my god. So later, Holly and Jackson are pissed that Nicole would like to sleep in her own HOH room, which is funny because I'm pretty sure she let Cliff sleep in it last night, but whatever. So Holly says, that sense of selfish arrogance and complete entitlement, that makes me not feel bad at all. Are you gonna try and steal her lunch money next or what? So then they're talking about how Holly threw the competition to Nicole and Holly definitely could have won it, and you know, she could be sleeping up in the HOH room this week. You did that! And your pompous douchebag boyfriend was the one encouraging you to throw the competition. I didn't hear Cliff and Nicole saying, hey, you gonna drop or what? And Nicole wasn't even the one asking for the deal. That was Cliff. So it's like hilarious that she is taking this out all this out on Nicole. I guess she's thinking, oh, it's Nicole's fault because Nicole is the one that benefited from this and won the HOH. But she was not even responsible for this, so it's crazy. So Holly says, my dad would whoop me if I acted like that. If I had that attitude, I'd get a reality check from my folks real quick. Okay, first of all, you're 31. Second, I think you have other things to worry about your parents seeing from this summer. So anyway, the house guests stayed up pretty late last night. They were enjoying their last night in the backyard before it's closed for the rest of the season. They got a lot of comps to set up back there. And Nicole and Cliff are working on their game plan to try and secure the final 3 for Cliff this week. So step 1, cut a hole in a box. Step 2, put your dick in that box. No. Phase 1, they're gonna try and guilt trip Jackson into sticking to the deal and taking Cliff and voting out Holly. If that doesn't work, phase 2, options. Phase 3, a new deal. So Nicole was chatting in the backyard with Jackson. She's starting with phase 1, guilt. So she says, Jackson says, I've been trying to give you some space. I know that you're really upset. It's really hard on me too. So Nicole says, yeah, I just feel really bad. Bring on the guilt. She says, we've talked so much for a long time now about being at the end with people who have fought to be here. And Jackson says, I meant that. It breaks my heart that my actions are causing you to be upset. So Nicole says, life is so much bigger than this game and I want to see fighters at the end. She keeps pushing that Cliff planned on following through with the deal, and if he won the power veto, he would have stuck with it and brought Jackson to the final 3. And I think he would have because he forgot what game he was playing. But Jackson says, it's not an easy decision for me. It's killing me. Is it though? I don't think so. So Nicole is then talking about how Cliff just wants to be there for the recap episode and he wants his wife at the finale, and it breaks Nicole's heart every time she walks into the room and Cliff is talking to his wife through the feeds and saying like, I'm so sorry that, you know, you're not gonna be flown out here for the finale. Isn't she still? I don't know, but anyway, yeah, Nicole says to Jackson, I guess this is part of phase 2, if you need anything from me, I will guarantee you one of those final 2 chairs. Whatever I need to promise you so that you end up in one of those final 2 chairs, I will do it. It's yours. And she's saying, you were telling me last week that I shouldn't think of myself as the 4th wheel to a tricycle. Well, you shouldn't think of yourself as the 3rd wheel to a bicycle. It doesn't seem like it's working. I don't think it's gonna work on Jackson. So anyway, that was last night. Not much happening today so far, actually. So like most of the house guests slept in really late today, just like they did yesterday. And honestly, when I went live on the feeds, I almost thought that I was still stuck on yesterday because it was like the same conversation that I heard yesterday. Holly and Jackson waking up and Holly being like, oh my god, like I barely slept all night. It's like 2 p.m., but okay. And she's like, oh, my spine hurts from this hard bed. The HOH bed is so much more comfortable and it would have been mine, but I stuck to my word and threw the HOH. Just stop. Please just stop. So it's gonna be a long rest of the week. We've got 2 days left until the eviction. I'm assuming Cliff will wait until probably tomorrow, I would think, to do his real campaigning to Jackson. But we'll see. I'm sure Nicole will keep trying to lay the guilt work. We'll see what happens. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. And until tomorrow, much love.